It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Well, hey y'all, happy Sunday. We are Michael Mattis. If at any point in time you start hallucinating, I hope that you don't look at me the way Rafe looked at Jada.
But that's how I normally look at you. That's what I normally see.
You get a costume change.
Hello, everybody, and welcome
like
to Dishin Days, where we are serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And in case you haven't noticed yet, or maybe you forgot, we are not live. We are pre-taped. So for us, it's Saturday, but for you, it's Sunday. But we still wanted to give you guys a chance and opportunity to come in and talk among yourselves about what you thought of this week's episodes of Days of Our Lives. And we might be here in the chat too. But in the meantime, make sure you guys follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram and Twitter. And also you can find us on your favorite podcast stations. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just make sure you look up Dishin Days and take us along on that workout at the gym, that walk on the treadmill, or maybe you're on a hike or stuck in traffic and you're listening to our wonderful voices. We are here to give you all the information on your favorite soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hey, you might not be listening to us or watching us live. Neither are we, but you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go ahead and click the notification button and the subscribe button and make sure you never miss a live and in living color or pre-tape show that's coming up. Also, buy our merch. We still have merchandise for sale. Go and check out these lovely logos here that we have. We have the Meliswin Possessed Dishin Days logo and serving a full dish. You can wear it wherever you like, whether it's to the family picnic or to that tailgating party, or maybe just around the house as you clean on a Sunday morning. Take us along with you. Buy your merch at dishindays.threadless.com. And also make sure you show some love to my chocolate twin and former co-host of Days of Our Lives, former co-host of Dishin Days, James Lott Jr., who has all the rest of the happenings in the soap world. Check out the Bold and the Beautiful recap and Young and the Restless and General Hospital. Actually, no, he doesn't do Bold and the Beautiful. He does Young and the Restless and General Hospital and original audio dramas. So make sure you check out JLJ Media on the YouTubes, including his take on the Emmy nominations. So make sure you go and check that out right now. JLJ Media on the YouTubes. And I never would have thought I would get through that. It's so long and so many church announcements. What do we think about this week's episodes of Days? Exactly.
All over the place. All over the place.
It wasn't that it was all over the place. It was just like at one point, like when I signed on here, I was like, I don't know if I paid attention.
Some things, some things I paid attention to, some things that were more engaging than others. I definitely think the week was bookended very nicely. Yeah, we got some transitioning happening at the end of the week.
Yeah, I like the family stuff we got, which I really liked. I thought that was good within sort of one storyline, which I think was the biggest. But other than that, it was just kind of like, okay, nothing much else happened.
Yeah. Well, the parts that I missed, maybe you guys will have to fill me in. But in the meantime, we're going to break it all down for you. It is now time for our favorite part of the show where we all try to synchronize saying Dishin Days. It is now time to start.
Dishin
Days. It's probably as close as we're going to get it.
Mm-hmm. You say that
every week. It's as close as we're going to get it.
Yeah. It's never true.
Well, it's close. All right. We're going to kick things off with our top storylines. And we're starting with Bo's alive. Oh, he dead. Oh, he alive again. Oh, he in a coma. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I have been very excited about this storyline. I have said how excited I have been about this storyline. I was with this storyline
Mhm.
until
Mhm.
Bo got shot.
Mhm.
And then I was like,
I'm kind of feeling the same way. However, I'm looking at it from this perspective. If they did what they actually first proposed for the happily ever after, they reunite, they go back to Salem, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, where would Bo and Hope? Where would they go from there? The way it ended this time is it kind of, we know that Christian and Peter are willing to come back. They came back for Beyond Salem Chapter 2. They came back this time. They're willing to come back under the right circumstances. And this kind of, I feel like this was the strategy here was to not give it, if they're willing to come back, not give it away, not give it what everyone wants. They want the happy reunion. They want the happily ever after. This way, it kind of delays that. So like people that want the happily ever after get it. And then maybe you're like, okay, well, don't need to watch anymore. Okay, nothing to look forward to. This way, it kind of leaves the door open still for that reunion. I can understand the frustration of people that thought this was leading to the happily ever after reunion and not the reunion we got. But that's the way I'm choosing to look at it.
well, it's definitely a choice.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm still confused. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, is that it? I think for me it was just confusion because I didn't know if they were staying around. I assumed that they weren't, that Christian and Peter weren't. So I thought what we were gonna do is get a reunion. It was gonna be happy, and then they would be off screen someplace. They were gonna go visit Sierra, they were gonna go visit Chelsea, they were gonna make a life someplace else outside of Salem. And then when Peter and Kristen want to come back, then we have a storyline for them. But I don't understand the choice made to basically we're back at square one in a way, or we're back at square 1.5. So instead of being dead, he's now in a lifeless coma where we don't know if he's ever going to come back. I just didn't understand it. I don't understand the direction to make that choice if there isn't something on the horizon that is,
if there isn't something planned already for
planned. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they have something planned. I think it's sort of open-ended, which I don't know.
Yeah. And we don't know, we don't have full visibility into everything, but it does kind of, it did some kind of like, and it wasn't really an ending. It was like, it's kind of like a see you later.
Yeah. Look,
Granted, if we're actually not getting any more this time around with them, which I don't think we are. I think they kind of, it did feel like kind of a finalization of this story.
Now.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about this storyline, which drives me crazy, was not the actual storyline itself. It was the I'll just say it, the audacity of soap fans to try to play the blame game.
But that's what soap fans do.
I know, and it's annoying as hell.
It is annoying.
Because
I was annoyed by it
immediately
too.
go on a rant of, oh, it's Ron's fault. Oh, it's Peter's fault. Oh, it's Christian's fault. They didn't want to come back. They didn't want to do this. And I'm like, okay, first of all, if anybody was on Twitter, you know that there was an actual writer from the writer's room, I believe it was James Giddy, who cleared that up, said it 100% was not Ron's decision.
Right.
He had pitched the happy ending. He has people above him, and then he has to go to the actors themselves. Now, who made the decision? We don't know. And guess what? We're not privy to that. Okay? Now, as far as the storyline goes, it's both. Yes, there's kind of like a little bow on it, so it's kind of like it just kind of leaves the door open. That look, Bo's alive. This is not something that was possible 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago when they killed him off. Okay?
Oh,
Peter Rickle had said he was done.
They said it wasn't 10 years ago. They said he died in 2015.
Okay, 2015, 8 years ago. Okay, so the point is he was done. Peter Rickle requested to be out. That was supposed to be it. That was the final thing. Christian Alfonso continued to work on the show up until the pandemic. Things were settled. We were never supposed to get this storyline back at all.
Mhm.
Okay, so one, be grateful for what you got.
Well, I don't know about that because they were eventually going to have to do something because they alluded to the fact that Bo could possibly be alive, which when Christian decided to leave, it was like she was going off to find these clues regarding Bo. So at some point, they were going to have to address it, which I feel like they addressed it beautifully with Beyond Salem.
Exactly.
In regards to like what's happening right now,
Mhm.
um, I didn't have any expectations. I actually liked the fact that Bo was embracing his Kyriakis side,
Mhm.
and I feel like that could have continued without him being shot. I think it could have been something where maybe we saw, Hope kind of struggling with, the fact that Bo's alive, but he's not Bo. He's like, and of course her love for Harris and like where that falls. There still could have been a whole lot of different ways that this could have gone instead of him being shot. Now, granted, we did get a lovely, guest appearance from Loretta Devine as Angela again, which I enjoy. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I like that moment, but and I know that maybe they're trying to heighten the drama and prolong the reuniting of Bo and Hope, but I just it's the Lord, he just became alive again, and now we're going to shoot him, and it just didn't make sense, and it especially didn't make sense for Sean to have done it. Like he didn't want to do a dad or don't or put your hands where I could like something. He just
Yeah.
came in,
Came in hot. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like
I
in
think that
actuality,
was.
what
Sorry, I think that was like they were trying to make this tragic. Tragedies and triumphs.
Greek
they
tragedy.
they went the tragedy route with this, like heavy, and the fact that and they were supposed to, and I think it was intended to be a shock. But yeah, some things just didn't align with it. Like you just said, he should have maybe called out or something before just being trigger
shooting.
happy.
Yeah. And I also just feel like, I appreciated the whole flashback Friday and Monday that happened with Bo and Hope. And I love the fact that and we've been seeing this with Bo of him struggling between being a Brady and wanting to embrace being a Kyriakis. And I like the moment when they were on the cliff and him being like coming out of it and being like fancy face. But I also wanted to continue I didn't mind continue seeing him struggle with like not wanting to do that.
Yeah.
And again, just kind of being like, I'm not going with you. I'm not going back to Salem. That life for me is over. And her maybe making that decision of fine, I'm gonna let you go. And however long to see that struggle, or if she rode off into the sunset with Harris, and Bo went off to be a Kyriakis, and then they somehow revisited again, I would have been fine with that. Shooting him is where I got lost with it. I was just like, it don't make no sense. Why are we going through this coma again? We just like she literally discovered him alive, and then 15 minutes later,
Yeah.
we're going through this again.
Yeah. I would have preferred that, or like if he ran and the storyline was she's on like a manhunt after him or something. Like I just don't like the fact that like she's now the character of Hope is now tied to him, and we say like Peter may want to come back. What if he doesn't? Then we're back at square one where he wanted to leave before, Christian didn't. And we saw what they did with her character then. She floundered. They don't know how to write sometimes for her back then without Bo. And it's like, you've now tied this character to a comatose character. Like,
Yeah. But there's Steve Burton as Harris. I'm sorry, Bo and Hope fans. This is no shade. Listen, I love the super couples too. But would it have made it interesting just for a time
Mhm.
that it was her and Harris?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And here's the thing, Soap fans, and we've said it before. And actually Miranda Wilson had this as part of her tweet. Sometimes you just have to go for the ride. Sometimes
Mhm.
you just have to go. You have to allow the show to take you on a journey instead of having this expectation of put my favorite couple together.
Mhm.
Put these people back together now.
Mhm.
Because then what are you gonna do? Because then when nothing is happening, then you're like,
This is boring.
Yeah.
They're not
right.
doing anything.
So it's kind of like just kind of sometimes you just have to. I'm not saying like it. I'm saying sometimes you just have to kind of go, okay, all right,
Mhm.
Mhm.
okay. Like I don't like this, but let me just see where it's going.
Yeah.
Okay, but instead of just being like, why am I home together? Me.
Yeah. Cranky.
So for all of the other ways this could have been written, we saw what Ron originally planned. It was
Did we?
kiboshed by who? Well, Jamie Giddens on
Yeah.
Twitter came to Ron's defense when everybody was shitting on Ron, basically
Mhm.
saying that Ron's original pitch was a happily ever after with
Mhm.
Bo and Hope, and they go off to search for Megan.
original. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that story was not approved, and this route was. But I will say, for all the other ways this could have gone, I feel like the way it was executed, like with
Yeah.
the effects and everything, which weren't perfect, I know, but I've seen some some
Oh,
more
yeah.
janky green screens, like
Mhm.
on Netflix and Apple TV and in feature films. So
yeah.
I give Days credit for maybe this wasn't the intended way the story was supposed to pan out, but I feel like the way it was executed and delivered was I give them an A+ for that.
Yeah.
How about that?
Look, I choose faith in this one. I choose faith because we've gotten so many things. We've been blessed as Days fans. We got so many things we weren't supposed to get. Peter was not supposed to come back, at least not back to life. They could have just ended it with
Neither of them were supposed to come back to
Neither
the
of
show.
them
They
were supposed to come back, period.
Mhm.
We got a lot more than we ever dared ask for. Times are different. This is not the 80s, okay? This is not the heyday where, yes, you had some of those great, when we saw in those great flashbacks, we had the great scenes outdoors, riding down the motorcycle and the yacht and everything. We're like, this is not those days. You don't have that same budget. But we have moved to Peacock, which I'm grateful for, because we would never have gotten even a green screen before
The
this.
virtual, yeah.
Who knows what janky stuff we would have had to work with before. We also don't have actors working. The work schedule is also not the same as it was back then. Back then, they were
Quicker.
practically living on the sets.
Mhm.
And location shoots like that, they take time. This is the actors have a good amount of quality time now where they get in, they do the work, and they can go home. Some of them can go home to other states. As we see, Peter lives in another state. So I'm choosing faith that this was a good experience. He has had on social media, he has had nothing but good things to say
Mhm.
about this experience,
Yeah.
about coming back to the show. That tells me the door is open. They left the door open storyline wise. I predict, and I know I keep saying this, but it is coming up. I predict we're gonna get something from them around the summertime, maybe in the fall. Simply because they have shot the scenes upcoming for John Aniston's farewell. You cannot say goodbye to Victor Kiriakis and then bring back his not so dead son and not have those two things collide at some point.
Maybe they will.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I have no thing. It just does not make sense.
Well, we don't know what's up, but we can only discuss, what we've seen so far. And what I've seen so far is I don't want Bo sitting up in a coma. I would rather he not have been shot. I would have rather some other route. My question now to fans is, how would you like to have seen this other than
Oh Lord.
a reuniting of Bo and Hope? But is there any other way that you can think of? Comment below. I'll take a look at them later.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk
You know,
amongst
our audience-
yourselves.
You know, when you ask other people,
The
to be
la-
writers, it's scary.
Huh?
Sorry?
You know, when you ask other non-writers to be writers, it gets scary, right?
Well, duh. That's what soaps
yeah.
are. All these. Have you not realized that all soap fans are writers? That's all they do is rewrite the show.
The last thing I'll say about this story, the last props I'll give them is that they incorporated. I feel like everyone everyone that should have been surrounding this story, maybe with the exception of Chad and Stephanie, they could have been lifted out. But they got Victoria back to play Sierra for a couple episodes.
Mhm.
They got Loretta Devine, who played a big part in the
Beyond Salem.
the Beyond Salem. So I feel like, and again, like in terms of execution and delivery and the effort put in, again, a plus that they were able to incorporate everybody, and we got a Chelsea mention.
And that she's pregnant.
Baby.
A lot of new babies in that family. Yeah.
Lots.
Those a little nugget sprinkled.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Pregnant.
that's the last thing I'll say, that I appreciate the effort that was put in to give what they had to give.
Yeah.
And that is so interesting to mention Chelsea and to mention the fact that she's pregnant. For that split second, what I truly appreciated was them. I love those moments where they remind us of characters, but also update us about a character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You are really tearing into that biscuit. You are
I haven't
living
lived today.
your life with said biscuit. Like you're pulling an Araceli before the show, but during the show. Wow.
I mean, I had already eaten, so.
What once was a prop is now a snack. And you know those biscuits are dry. You know you're gonna have biscuit all in your gums.
I know it's all in there.
Lord.
Why I have this.
God.
Anyway, thank God somebody listened to us and mentioned Chelsea.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly could not connect with Chad and Stephanie this week.
No.
I kept being like, what's happening? And then I was like,
Yeah.
And then I felt like I just like shut down.
I think it's the issue we've had with them where we like both characters, but it's like Abigail's gone, insert Stephanie, and it's like lather, rinse, repeat kind of thing. I think we found it more interesting or more dynamic when she was with Alex, even whatever they were going through. I felt for me was definitely more interesting. With them, it's just, like I say sometimes, it's too pat, like it's too ready-made family. Like the kids love her, and they're all, they meet her one time and they're in love with her, and
it's too perfect, too quick.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that, except put them in Salem for that. They had once they found Kayla and Steve, they had no purpose for being in Greece. Chad should have been getting back to his kids. Stephanie's parents are alive. Maybe she would have stayed, but Chad had no purpose being there. So them as a couple had no purpose to be there, to be talking out. Like, why was she harping on Harris so much?
Yeah, that was a disconnect for me too. I understood why, but
like Sierra, it would have made more sense for Sierra to give that whole speech about like when she found out, because that's actually her dad. What's Stephanie got to do with this? Well, and her character history makes that whole brouhaha completely hypocritical as well. She's been known to lie for the sake of a relationship back in her day. So it's just, no, it was completely on all fronts a disconnect.
I think Stephanie was more mad about Steve. I don't think she could have cared less about his feelings for Hope or what he was going through regarding Hope. I think it was all about Steve. The fact that,
But she didn't say that. She kept harping on about like Bo and Hope. She
No,
didn't once.
but she was saying if you had kept on searching the house and didn't back down because of Bo, you would have found my father. I think is her issue with him.
It wouldn't matter because Steve escaped anyways.
Well,
But she didn't know that.
yeah, I mean she's
She's just
still
looking at the fact that like had you said something earlier, then then we wouldn't. All this wouldn't have happened.
Mhm.
Like
it could have happened differently. The certain certain things may not have happened. That
well, think about it, right? Had Harris dealt with Bo, then Hope wouldn't have been there. They wouldn't have went to the ledge. Sean Duck. So it's like a whole series of events that probably wouldn't have happened had he just, or maybe if he went with her. I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
Or
so,
if he went back to the hotel, told everyone, and they all ambushed the place.
Went together,
went all together and saved Steve. Like,
that would have made a good moment. Like they're all like almost like an intervention to try to bring Bo back. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, but it only would have worked with Hope.
Yeah, I think that's probably why that scenario didn't work out, was because the fans they wanted
Bo and
Hope to discover Bo herself, and not for. Can you imagine that? Like, imagine everyone being in there and like scattered about, right? And then the door opens, and then someone turns and goes, "Oh my God!" And then everyone else turns, and then Hope's the last to turn, and then it's like, "Brady." I think it wouldn't have been that moment that everyone was seeking.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, I'm no writer, but I'm a soap fan.
Yes. I mean, the emotional stuff with Bo, with all the people who should have been connected to that storyline, and I'm sorry I don't include Chad and Stephanie in that, was good. Everything else, I was like, why are we here? Why are we spending this amount of time with Harris and Andrew? Why is Thomas Banks here again? Why, does the hospital
because they shot him in the ear,
like really bad pamphlets? It's just there was a lot. And there was a lot in those episodes that really could have been taken out. And considering the fact that Tuesday's episode, the first 10 minutes was just the last 10 minutes of Monday's episode, there was a lot that could have been taken out.
Yeah.
Speaking of the family really quick, one scene that stuck out to me and I was kind of surprised by it was Josh Taylor's scene with Peter Reckle. I was like, oh.
He was really good this week.
Yeah, he was really good. Like the grief and confusion and everything regarding the Kate situation. I thought he was like the standout this week.
Poor Roman. They are putting that man through it. Like, finding out that, I mean, it's like
bam, your wife died. Bam.
If Britney Spears' song "Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know" was a meme, it would feature Roman Brady. I feel like he's literally the last to know, and everyone is catching him up, and it's almost like no one told Roman. No, I didn't tell Roman. Did you text him? No one called him. Like, Roman, you don't know. It feels very that. But like he's catching up on everything, and I get it. Like there's so many emotions going on. Marlena is alive. Kayla is alive. He finds out Kate is dead, but at the hands of Bo, but Bo's alive. And so there's so much stuff that he's going through. But then when they sat down with the microchip and played back
I love that video.
What happened, I was like, all right. But I felt like
they literally used one of these.
Literally used one of those. But I feel like we all kind of felt that. We were like, Kate is not dead. And kudos again to them going back to how she first appeared on the show.
Yeah.
And going back with that. So now I'm kind of interested in being like, Kate, where you been? Let me tell you
that's the next step of this story. Like clearly there's going to be a transition now where it's transitioning from Bo and Hope over to
Kate.
Where's Kate? And we're seeing where she is, and it's going to be a matter of them trying to find out where she is and where she's gutting those fish.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. I mean, I'll be able to pick back up, but I just
Mm-hmm.
like when I heard fancy face, I was like, I'm out. Like it's like my face went, and I just
I wouldn't
watched things
even
like that.
I wouldn't even minded that so much if he had woken up at the end or so. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I thought it was going to be a flesh wound. I thought it was going to be like he got shot, but he's like, he shot me in the ass,
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something that's not as like,
That wouldn't
this
put him in
like,
a coma. Yeah. Wouldn't
yeah,
kill
like
him and then put him in a coma.
she faints, and then while you were gone, they took him in the surgery. Oh, thank God. Oh, that's actually how she sounds. I love when Christian Alfonso like has those moments of like, because she always whispers. She's always like, "Dear God, please just let Bo." I'm like, oh. And then there's Angela. You keep the face in Beauregard.
Yeah.
Oh, her dialogue was great. I felt like her it's kind of cheesy. I was watching like the excuse me, like that last scene of Bo and Hope in the hospital room, and Angela came in, and then the Angela, the angel, and the fairy music, whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is so cheesy, but I am buying into it 100%.
I'm
You
with
are-
you. I did too. And did you guys notice that they switched that because when she came on, they were pretending like she was a
Yeah.
different character,
Mhm.
but in the interaction with Hope, and then funny thing after Angela gave her speech about Beauregard, you saw Christian Alfonso call her Angela, which she wouldn't have known that, but I felt like it was like a little nod, wink, wink thing. Because how would she know to call her that name when she? Yeah. But no, I'm with you. I was kind of into it. I'm like, wait,
I'm like, this is so fucking cheesy, but I'm like, I'm eating it up.
Yeah, she sold it.
Well, that's the magic of Loretta Devine.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
So everybody learned a lot. Bo's alive. Everybody knows that he is alive. Kate's alive. We learned he's alive. I learned that Tony Moore listened to Britney Spears' "Oops, I Did It Again" every single song in the early 2000s. So
hello. Before there was Beyonce, there was Britney. It was Britney, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still have the CD, don't you?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in my CD case.
Yeah, I do too.
Mine's in my car.
First of all, I went to the Dream Within a Dream tour, the Oops I Did It Again tour, and the Onyx tour, and then that's when I think Britney kind of. But anyway, yeah. I mean, listen, I was all about Britney then.
I learned a lot today.
Just thank you, Araceli, for being the Roman Brady of Dishin Days and Tony Moore. So I think that's pretty much it with that storyline, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Lord, the Demera family feud. Dun-dun-dun-dun. How do y'all feel about this? How do y'all feel about this Stefan Gabby versus EJ Nicole?
We've been talking about it for what the last.
I know it's just round after round of the same shit, different week.
Yeah,
and dynamics are maybe a little different now that Lee Shin has given Gabby up, so he's kind of, who knows what role he's going to play, but I'll go with it, and maybe they'll come up with something a little more compelling for these guys.
I mean, at least everybody's on the up and up now. There's no more behind the scenes shenanigans. It's all going to be in front of your face shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
So I
that's the difference. It's not in secret anymore. It's like telling people off to their face. Yeah.
I suppose that's better. And this is par for the course. So I'm not sure how much we really need to talk about this.
Yeah. Same. I mean, we've been saying like lather, rinse, repeat with them, and it's unfortunate because these are all really good actors on the show. We like all of them, so it's like, why are we doing round? This is what, round 6 maybe now of this storyline. Now they're bringing Gabby as a consultant. Then EJ turns to Nicole, who has a job running a company to
Doesn't
come
clear it
as
with
a
Brady or
result.
anything.
And I was like, wait, what?
It was so bizarre. I was like, yeah.
Now,
It's like,
listen,
oh,
Okay.
come on.
here's the thing. At what point will they understand that if the four of them actually work together,
Mhm.
Demera would be back on track? It's like, I get there needing to be some sort of drama, but can we go back to the day of when it was like Titan versus Demera
Yes.
Enterprises? You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
This can
I
this
feel like they've
continued
started to.
pull.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, this continued pull of power within is kind of like, I mean, I feel like it reached a point of like, okay, girls, during the whole drugging thing,
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean, like going back and forth, and then
Yeah.
and now I just feel like now it's like, well, now I got Gabby, and like we're gonna take over. No, it's gonna be me and Nicole, and it's like
Yeah.
it could be all of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Really. Yeah.
You add Gabby to Basic Black with her and Nicole running the fashion part of it. Well, that's gonna be great. Then you have Stefan and EJ, teaming up. That's gonna be great. Now let's look over at Titan and let's have that again.
They've
Let's
started.
bring.
I feel like we've gotten glimmers of that in the past few years. Like when Philip came back,
Mm-hmm.
maybe where they kind of maybe started or kind of hinted that they were going to go that route. It just never came to fruition,
Yeah.
and it never like went anywhere. And now, yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah. I'm just I can't. I don't know where. I can't see where it's going to go from here, and I just don't want it to be, like Justin said, lather, rinse, repeat.
Mhm.
Please try to figure out something new to do with these four great people who, you can do a lot more with than just the
Yeah.
petty shit.
I think
Like-
new things will happen. Obviously, nothing happened this week, but the idea that they're going to be like working together, that any of these characters would willingly work together in any capacity, when we know, like, maybe with other characters, but each one of these people in this foursome do not play nice with others.
Yeah. I mean, let's get Lee over to Titan. Let's get Xander, Lee, Alex, and Maggie
Yes.
versus Nicole, EJ, Stefan.
And please, when Kate eventually makes it back to Salem, let her realize that she's wasting time just being like Roman's wife. She can still be
Mhm.
Roman's wife and go back into the business arena,
Mhm.
because that, I feel like, is when Kate is at her best, and that's where that character fits best.
Mhm.
That cutthroatness.
Yeah.
Putting it out there.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the latter part have to do with this, but I'm going to move them to the next part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that Michael Mattis is done with his biscuit, we're going from biscuits to brothers. This is everything to do with Salone and Chanel and Paulina, and now Thalia, right?
Talia,
Whatever.
Talia, and the new
Um,
character of Colin.
First of all, Talia, if you're gonna do something, be a little more subtle about it. Her in this nervous energy of, you want to talk to both of us, or being like, all right, Jada, bye, thanks, glad I can help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's coming off so guilty, and nobody's picking up on it.
Well, because nobody would pick up on it, because what would be her motive?
Well, Jada is.
I know
Jada's
Jada's
like,
the one now.
Good.
Jada
Yeah.
said, mm-mm.
Because she didn't have consistent stories. Got to keep your stories straight.
And if you listen, if you're gonna lie, be good at it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can't lie to your family.
Most liars are not good at it, though.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't
Um,
lie to your sister. So like they just know it.
What were your first impressions of Colin, who we now know is Colin Peterson, the brother of Sloane?
Why is he British and Sloane's not?
So
You-
do you
Was
think
that
it's because
explained?
he's the younger brother
Yeah.
and it was established that, you know, they were in London at the time, so he probably would have grown up there and maybe Sloane wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
All right.
Because as soon as I heard the accent, I said, "Who you belong to?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's like with JJ. Like JJ has an American accent, which would never made any sense. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of JJ, bring him back.
You just had a memory.
Just had a what?
You just
He's
have
just
like a
like-
memory flash or deja vu of like, ooh,
Yeah.
JJ.
I was like,
Like,
oh yeah, JJ, bring him
Speaking
back.
of JJ,
Yes.
I think it's
Biscuit.
very interesting to continue this storyline and stretch the storyline, and now involve the brother.
Mhm.
And it's interesting to have two siblings who are kind of on the same warpath.
Mhm.
And I'm also now like, well, Talia, how do you fit in this? Like, you just doing somebody else's dirty work because you love him that much?
Ugh.
And why is everybody staying at that nasty hotel?
Yeah. Well, they're probably trying to be. Colin maybe has money, but trying to be incognito.
I
Yes.
guess so, but I was like, "Ew, that hotel is nasty." You've been there this
Get one
whole
of those.
time.
Get one of those Dateline lights in there and see how.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this storyline is really shining a light on two sets of siblings, Jada and Talia and Sloane and Colin.
Mhm.
It's so disturbing now to realize that Sloane is the sibling with more integrity.
Oh yeah.
With-
She's still
I didn't
raggedy
say
in her
she
own
was-
right.
I didn't say she was a moral person,
Well,
but she definitely
She's
at
just
least
no.
has
She's
a
just,
line.
she's just immoral in a different way. They're both.
Yeah.
I feel like I would say they're both equally immoral, just in different ways.
well, here's
Yeah.
the thing. Sloane, sorry. Sloane is trying to use the law to get back at Paulina and Chanel. Where Colin is like, "Oh,
Drugging this shit.
did somebody call for karma?
Mhm.
I'll take that."
Well,
You know what I
what's
mean? And so that's how he's going about it. He's like, "Oh, karma ain't working fast enough, baby. I'ma come
Yeah.
be karma. I'ma come slash your tires. I'ma write murderer on the sweet bits. I'm gonna poison the biscuits. I'm gonna trash the office. Cause karma, look, I don't have time to sit
Yeah.
like this and wait for karma. Baby, hello. My name is Colin Karma Peterson.
Yeah, but at
Karma
least
Peter.
it kind of makes sense because we know they had terrible parents. You know, neither one of them has a moral compass. Sloane at least uses the law to get what she wants, and at the very least, I'll give her this: when she uses people, she tells them straight up.
Sure.
Funny thing is, I don't even think Sloane's above the drugging. I know she didn't do it, but I think
Oh, she's
I
not.
think-
She's not above the drugging. No.
Yeah,
it
I think
totally
she
made sense
did
that
it.
she could do it.
I think she would have done it if she thought she could get away with it, but because she knows she'd be prime suspect number one, she would have easily drugged whoever she
Yeah.
needed to.
I have to disagree. I don't think.
You don't
I
think
don't think. No. I think we have two different people with two different tactics.
Mhm.
Sloane is very much like, okay, that case didn't work. I'm going to do this case. Like she is going to go about it in a way that is legal and will protect her, right?
Mhm.
Whereas again, Colin is like,
No,
I'm a
she's
drug
done some
dealer.
illegal things. Remember when she stole the file from Paulina? I mean, she's done some
Technically, she
illegal
stole
stuff.
it back. That was her.
she
file.
stole it back. That was her file.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't illegal.
Yeah, it's
The same thing OJ did, and he got
you
busted
don't-
for it. It was
yeah,
illegal.
you can't-
Okay.
That's not illegal.
Okay, well,
may
the
be
point.
But it was her.
Right,
It was
but
it
it's
was
not
her
illegal.
property
was
that
her-
got
yeah.
stolen.
That's not how the law works. You can't.
It would've- so she- yeah,
well,
but here-
I takes it back. That's mine.
Sure, that's not how the
Okay.
law works. But
If you
Either
if you entered the office legally and took it back, but breaking into the office and taking something, no, that's theft. That's stealing.
Well, what about
Breaking and
threatening to have Leo's legs broke? I mean, she's not a. She's not,
Okay.
I think.
Yes,
I
they're
think
both
she.
immoral,
Her.
but Colin is worse.
Yeah.
I'm
Colin
with
is
Justin. I
worse.
think they're both the same. They're
Yeah.
like what Tony said. They're both the same, but their tactics
Yeah.
are
Colin
different.
is worse, and I'm going to tell you why. Because, as I said, Sloane It really just uses people, but she tells it to their face. She's really
That don't make it okay.
No, I'm not saying it's okay. Let me get to my
Make
point.
her not raggedy.
Let me get to my point.
I thought you already said your point.
I know. I thought you were. I thought we were there. Oh, excuse me. I am not your baby.
One of the children.
No, she screamed at me for 3 hours yesterday. That was so you can see how short-tempered I am this week. So what I was saying,
I noticed.
Sloan will tell you to your face that she's using you. Colin, what I was like in the midst of all these crimes that he is committing and that he's getting Talia to commit for him. What was the one thing that I actually found extremely offensive? When he started yelling at Talia for making mistakes. And right away, it was like, oh, he doesn't love her. He's a user.
Yeah.
Just like his sister, except he's being he's just being so manipulative. And it was just that I was actually really disgusted by.
Yeah. I was getting really he was definitely giving off abusive vibes there. It was getting a little weird. Yeah.
And so then we have Talia and Jada, who, Talia came in and we thought, oh, she was like she had a career. She found out she didn't want it. She chose happiness. And we had this idea of that she was going to be a really strong character, just like her sister was. Turns out I'll say it, she's dumb as shit.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I have a short fuse, and the idea that an educated woman who grew up in a loving, stable home is putting her medical career on hold for a guy.
Well, that's what that good would do to you. It will make you go into do some crazy things. So that's the only other explanation as to why she's doing all this stuff. Colin must be great.
Must run in the family. Sloan got something on Eric, so
that's another thing that they have in common. They've got that with the
Well, then to that point, Eric was free. Eric's been broken. We can all say that Sloan, found Eric when he was broken. He's been broke.
She still whipped that thing up on him and still got him in a haze.
Then it leads me to ask the question, Talia, who broke you?
Colin. Broke off is what it is.
What the?
Anyway, welcome Colin to Salem. We appreciate you.
Do we though?
But why is Abe coming in? Guys, why haven't we made him arrest yet? I want to be like, now listen, Abe, you have been everything in Salem except a janitor. You know how this works. They ain't got they can't put Sloan in jail because ain't not damn fingerprint or anything that ties her to that. They ain't got damn suspect. They ain't got nothing. They got 12 hours of a gap and no security tape. What you want them to do? Now,
oh god.
Now Jada's getting close, but it's her own flesh and blood. How's she gonna handle that? So hold your horses, Abe. You almost worse than Melinda Trask in that moment. Anyway, well, that was that.
At least some actual police work is getting done.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, they're actually doing it and showing it. And
well, you know what? I feel like ever since Jada has came on, like, that's when things have started getting done.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to say, I cackled a little bit when Rafe came in and was like, "Hey," and she was like,
she was like,
"Hey."
That was funny.
I was like, not her making sure like,
yeah.
That's how I'm gonna whenever we log on here and Michael Mattis comes on, I'm gonna be like, "Hi, Michael Mattis."
Wrong.
Only if he's eating biscuits.
And he had two.
No, I had one. I just have been eating it slowly.
Oh. Well,
Only
that's
one.
probably the best way
He
to
has
eat it.
his water. He's being responsible.
That ain't
It's
water.
gone now. I can't eat any more of the
Oh.
biscuit because my water's gone.
Oh.
No.
Got the dry mouth.
All right. Well, those have been your top storylines, and we are now going into our tidbits. But before we do that, just a quick reminder: follow us on all social media platforms. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube, or find us on the podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and buy our merch. All
This
right.
is not our normal hours, people.
It is not. It is not.
We're doing
And
good though.
we're doing great. We are doing great. We are going to get through these tidbits and we're going to get through these segments, and then we are all going to log off because I tell you one thing we probably all are right now: hungry,
Hungry.
which is probably why we are acting the way that we are. So we are into tidbits, and we are going to Salem to Seattle, girl.
I've kind of had it with Wendy. I've been annoyed with her the last few weeks.
She's wanting to have her cake and eat it
Yeah.
too, between Johnny's cake and Trip's cake.
Girl, eat up.
Respect, okay?
Really.
But it is yeah, I'm with you, Justin. I'm just and like she's acting so like innocent and like she's a victim, and it's like as much as I love the character and
Yeah, I like her.
You know, I've just write something better for her, please.
I just don't understand how there was no Google alert or email that
Yeah.
Trip got about the hallucination.
He works at the hospital. Like,
I
yeah,
can't-
absolutely. There was a Teams chat about it, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I can't believe it's taken this long to even explain to Wendy
Mhm.
that, you know, that's what happened. But here's the thing that I have always appreciated about Wendy is that she's like, I'm not tied to either of you, but I'm interested in both of you, and I'm letting both of you know.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
And
been
then-
upfront about it, but I'm still just like,
Well, listen,
don't
let
start
her
crying about.
let her live her life. Let her live the life of being able to get to know two young, fine, incredibly attractive, handsome, goal-oriented menses with chesticles and muscles and abdominians. What were we talking about?
What are we talking about?
What were we talking-
Before Tony starts making up more words.
Wendy. Yes, let her enjoy all that.
I
'Cause
would
I
agree
would.
with that. I mean, I would agree with that if not for the two men in question, because I agree with Michael and Justin that at this point, poor Trip and Johnny have been through so many triangles and quadrangles, and it's like neither one of them asked for any of this. It's getting ridiculous. I'm not saying that they need to find their soulmates right away, but I can't even think of a time since they've both been on the canvas in the last few years that they weren't in just one stable couple.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still very like, I mean, they've each barely like gone out with each other. Like I can see if like they've been like dating, like she's been dating off and on. At some point, it's like, girl, make a decision. But she's still getting to know. Let her live her life. Let her. I'm like a bird. She's gonna fly away. Let her do that.
Yeah. I will say I do appreciate Chanel and Johnny. Just keep this friendship. I don't need them to go back to a relationship because they just work so well as friends. They work so well. And I'm sorry, I think they need each other. I think they need, obviously Talia is not Chanel's friend. Johnny has needed someone in his corner who actually sees him and doesn't just like take him as, oh, you're a Demera. Oh, you're E.G. Demera's son. You must be bad. Oh, you were possessed with the devil. You must be bad.
Yeah.
I think eventually, I mean, I the way I see this going is that friendship is going to remain, and then
Between who?
once, excuse me,
Between who?
oh, Chanel and Johnny.
Got it.
The way I see this going is that the friendship will remain. They'll be each other's, shoulder to lean on, confidant. Both of them are going to get into relationships. The feelings are going to start feeling again, and they'll eventually, again,
They're gonna do what?
they're going to,
Mm.
I don't mind them.
That's how I see
Honestly,
this going.
At this point, I'd rather make Wendy and
Whether-
Trick and Chanel and Johnny and call it a day.
Well, hopefully we'll see some things progress. Speaking of progression, how do you have them pronounced? Chalander?
Calander.
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 I think that's up for debate. Calander moves in.
Oh, I've seen
Okay.
Zoe.
Chloe and Xander?
I've seen Zoe. I've seen on.
Oh, I didn't even look. I just made up my own.
Yeah.
Well, kudos to you, Michael Mattis, for being someone who forges through.
Okay.
An innovator, a creator.
That's right. I'm an innovator. If I'm nothing else.
Listen, I don't mind Chloe and Xander. I said it before. I think it's nice. It's young. It's fresh.
Mhm.
It's been many a years since she got left at that with Mateo.
Mhm.
I think they are finding a bond within each other because of the stuff that they're going through. So have fun.
Yeah,
Have fun,
I'm
y'all.
rolling with it. I'm rolling with it.
Yeah, I like it actually. I like
Yeah.
it.
They play well off each other. They have a
That's
chemistry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them be. They're both adults. They're both
Mhm.
just trying to, just keep swimming. Just let them be.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just trying to live their life. All right. Well, that was your week of days, and it's now time to start our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine, with Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Okay, listen, before you click that, this is a moment where you really come from comes out and is no longer acting. You now transported to where you grew up. Hit it.
With this, here's why you should give a damn, Miss Peterson. You have caught the wrong people in your net. Powerful people who do not like being screwed with. So get your affairs in order, because I am going to make sure that you go down for this, and you will go away for a long, long time.
Let me tell y'all something. Tina went from Melinda Trask to Tina from New York, honey. She said
Belinda Trask.
Wait, what is it?
I said Belinda instead of Belinda.
Yeah. She was like, "Listen, you better get your."
Did you see someone posted that clip on Twitter and Tina replied to it and she was like, "Oof, too much neck." She's like, "I did too much neck." But I was like, "No, it's good."
No, that was because it was like it was like, again, it's like she went from Trask to Tina. Like, let me tell you something, ho. You better get it together because you done messed with the wrong people. Okay, I ain't mad at it. So Tina Hong, I hope I pronounced her names right, who plays Melinda Trask. You get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award for keeping it 100% real, honey. Letting them know that don't be fooled by the rocks that you got. You still Tina from the block, honey. And now it's time for Caption That.
All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Andrew Donovan, everyone watching Andrew Donovan's computer. And this week's caption goes to Roe v. Connection, Lori Alaska 39 on Twitter with her caption, "Viewing the General Hospital Twitter suites yesterday."
We'll get to that in a minute.
I picked one before that one, and then I saw this one, and I was like, "Oh, gotta change it," because that's funny.
If you know, you know. If you don't know, we'll get to it in a minute.
Oh, she's gonna go off, people. Just brace yourself. Get a
No,
drink.
she's
or
not.
something.
We ain't got that kind of time. I'm hungry.
Anyway, okay. The set Colton Little put his ring in the hat, as Tony said.
Hat in the
Hat
ring.
in the ring. With his
That's what you
caption,
always say.
Hat in the ring. Ring in the hat. Hat in the ring.
Hat in the ring. Yeah.
Anyway, Colton Little gave us a caption, and his caption was, "Sure, reincarnation is shocking, but have you seen Andrew's browsing history?"
A lot of Pornhub.
Wow, Justin. Wow. It could have been a link to Beyonce, Gaga, Taylor Swift tickets.
No, thank you.
He said no one.
Said no one.
Porn.
And that was
Dishin Days.
And now it's time for
Those were the days.
Taking everyone back to April 26, 1995, when Gina Horton got her police name tag. Again, this is not Hope Williams Brady. This is not Hope Williams. This is not Princess Gina. This is Gina Horton, who Kristen Alfonso played when she first came back to Days in 1994. This is the character that was found with Celeste, who was an amnesiac, and this is who Kristen played until it was eventually revealed that she was Hope Brady or Hope Williams Brady back then. But yeah, I love the storyline. This is the beginning of the whole Princess Gina saga that went on for 6 to 7 years. So I love this part of Days history. And this is her with, is it Riel or Real? I forget. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Riel.
Andrews, yeah, he's a big soap star from GH and other soaps. But yeah, he did have a stint as her partner back in the day when she was a police officer. So yeah, that was April 26, 1995, when we had Gina Horton as a character.
Those were the days.
And now it's time for
It's a gift.
Is it?
Look, it was a week, okay? And so this is Abe just being a dutiful husband.
So funny.
How was that, dear? Every husband has had to do it at some point. Just do it. Just do what you ask. Your life will be easier.
And that was
It's a gift.
And now it's time for
News and gossip.
We are starting off with a big congratulations to our Emmy nominees from Days and Beyond Salem. I'll run through the categories real quick. Supporting actress Stacey Hyduke, supporting actor Dan Furgel, supporting actors for guest performance Steve Burton and Kevin Spiritus, best actor Billy Flynn, young performer Kerry Christopher. Days actually got a few nominations as well. The show for casting, best drama, directing, writing, and sound. Big congratulations. And we had a couple of nominations for Beyond Salem with writing and directing. So big congratulations to Days. I think we had a decent turnout this year. Yeah. And we had, with that said, we had a little bit of controversy recently.
a little.
Yes. The reason why I did not mention Victoria Grace is because she has rescinded, or they have rescinded, or a nomination has been rescinded for her nomination for a young performer. Apparently, there was some sort of mix-up with the age rule. It has changed a couple times since then. We don't know how she got in, where the source of it was, but she put out a sort of post or statement about how she was honored to be nominated, but because of this issue that her Emmy nomination has been rescinded, and that hopefully she will work hard to earn another daytime Emmy nomination, which nobody here I think has any doubt. But
What was her statement, Justin?
Sorry, we're
was
reloading. Okay. Says, I was honored to be nominated for a daytime Emmy and to be recognized by the Academy. Unfortunately, there was a huge misunderstanding across the board regarding the rules for this year's category. This is obviously a surprise, and I'm heartbroken. But in fairness to all, I'll be rescinding my nomination. I wish the best of luck to all the nominees. I will continue to work hard to earn another daytime Emmy nomination next year. Yeah.
You have 1 minute.
Okay. All right. The short version of this story is that Victoria Grace, as her name implies, was very gracious. Okay. But the bottom line is somebody at the Academy screwed up. Okay. Now, the whole reason that this was such a batshit crazy mix up was because the younger performer category, which used to be the younger actress, younger actor category, was for all performers under the age of 25. A few years ago, it was changed to actors under the age of 21, which is why actually Lindsay Arnold had come on our show, and she had mentioned to us that she last year submitted her Emmy reel for that category because it was the last year that she would be eligible, because they would be changing the age from under 21 to under 18. So in the last 2 years, they changed the rules again for that category, which is how this whole mix up on Victoria's part happened. There's no excuse, I'm sorry, but there's no excuse for the Academy to have made that mistake.
Well,
They checked your age and caught it right away.
Yep. At the end of the day, as soon as submissions are taken and for the categories, I believe that someone at the Academy should check eligibility
First thing, what's the birth date?
Right. Well,
Yes.
especially if there's age requirements for younger.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
first thing. Or if it's, well, what age were they during these scenes?
Yes,
If
that's
if
the
that
caveat.
if that's the caveat, right? So at the end of the day, that should have happened before they were put on a ballot for voting and before nominations were announced. So that is all the Academy. And
And it's
tisk
on, and
tisk.
the reason I take issue with the Academy because it's caused all of this other hullabaloo. I won't go into details about what happened with General Hospital and with Eden McCoy. You know, you can log on to Twitter and see that is a mess. But none of that would have happened. Like even Dudley picked up the story. But not, my long way of saying that all of that would not have happened if the Academy had just done its job, which leads me to really my belief that they should never have changed the age range categories to begin with, because now you have this whole section of younger performers ages like 18 to say mid 20s who are putting out great work, but they don't necessarily fall into the category of supporting actors quite yet. So it's kind of leaving them out, and it's unfair to them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, there's that on that.
Yeah.
Continuing on with news and gossip.
Yes. On a lighter note, we have dates for the upcoming tour for the Day Players Band.
Oh, who took that picture?
Oh, who took that picture?
Oh, Michael Mattis. Got it. You still eating that biscuit? Good.
He's working through it slowly. Okay, so upcoming tour dates. If you are within driving distance of any of these places, please put a note on it. May 6th, Montreal, Quebec. June 3rd, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. June 4th, Addison, Texas. August 6th, Phoenix, Arizona. Please make sure to go onto the Day Players website for details and tickets for their
They're
upcoming
playing more shows than Taylor and Beyonce.
Beyonce right now, not Taylor.
It was a joke. We can move on.
Yes, move on quickly before
Tony
has his own rant coming.
I see the biscuit is taking effect, Michael Mattis.
I was talking about the number of shows they were doing. I wasn't shading Beyonce.
I felt shade.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Moving on to some in-person events we have coming up. We have the Punta Cana one in Dominican Republic with Eric Markov and Rick Springfield happening October 5th through the 9th. All tickets and information, go to rickspringfieldgetaway.com. Next up, we have the Starstruck fan event, the Oktoberfest, which Michael just loves, is October 21st to 22nd in Orlando, Florida. Those intended Sean Christian and Arian Zucker, Eric Motzoff, Matthew Ashford, Judy Evans, and Mike Manning. All tickets and information, go to starstruckfanevents.com.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
And we have the Party in Vegas one, Eric Martzoff, Brian Datillo, Dan Furgal, Stacey Haiduk, Brandon Beamer. This one sounds like a really fun one happening in Vegas over a couple of days. All tickets and information, go to Stacey and Brian's Instagram pages for more info. And we have some new ones from Samantha and Friends, amazing organization that helps out veterans and those living with disabilities. 2 events, a Marvel Madness Avengers theme one, which is happening Saturday, May 20th and 21st of this year. And then we have a Invasion of the Minions one happening September 9th and 10th of this year. And if you know anything about Samantha Friends, they always love to do these sort of theme fan events to put a little bit of a spin on it. Some really great performers, so go check them out. That one is actually samanthafriends.org, so for tickets and information.
Oh, that's
And
it.
we're
All
done.
right. Well, that has been
News and gossip.
and now it is time to find out what is coming up on this week's Days of Our Lives.
Kate's alive.
We just gotta find her.
Help!
You two are moving in together?
My very own sister drugged those biscuits.
Yeah, I did have sex with your girlfriend.
Lady whistleblower smells a story.
I need to get to the hospital. I've got news.
Coincidence? I think not.
Okay.
Wow.
These promos are getting good.
Yeah.
Mhm. Some good promos.
Yeah.
Next week we have movement, it looks
Yes.
like.
Some excitement.
We have some movement next week. All right. Well, we have something to look forward to and then something to talk about. But that's it. That has been your show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we head out, though, Mattis, tell the kind folks where they can find you.
Excuse me. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
A biscuit.
All
I
these
got a
years
little piece of
later,
biscuit.
Right.
little piece of biscuit stuck down in
Piece
there.
of- yeah.
Little piece of biscuit.
Just-
Araceli, where are you now located?
I am now located on both Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And the Lone Ranger himself. Where is the only destination that they can find all things Justin Lee Hareld?
On Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
What a shame. We all have Twitter and Instagram, and yet.
Oh, you're
one
also
still
happy
only-
about it too. Oh my God. It's the advertising you guys do for Twitter. It's great.
I know what a mess Twitter is. And of course, you guys can find me on all social media platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, at Lounging with Tony. And since you guys are watching this Sunday, but we're doing this today, today, 1 year ago, I shot my scene on Beyond Salem. You can go to my Instagram and see the scene and also some behind the scenes photos. By behind the scenes photos, it's just me in my dressing room. And you can also check us out on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and all of your support. We will see you next Sunday for a live show of Dishin Days. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Michael Mattis, you're supposed to cue the "We're done" video.
My bad.